Bunsworth's Banshee. The story of the Reverend Charles Bunsworth and the Banshee took place in Buttevant, County Cork, Ireland, in the 18th century. The Reverend was a much respected man in the area and admired as an accomplished harpist. When he became ill, local people became very concerned. This was a concern that was heightened not by the immediate prognosis of his illness, which was not really thought to be terminal, but the strange events that took place in the area prior to his demise. A servant of the household reported to the concerned family of the Reverend one morning that he had heard the wailing of a banshee. He described how the woman had wailed and moaned and clapped her hands in despair, repeating the Reverend's name over and over and over again. Local people know that this could only mean one thing, for the Banshee was known to all as the lone female figure who cries out in agonizing despair to herald in an impending death. She is cursed by death itself to carry out her awful otherworldly task. Irish people have known her for a long time. Have known her as banshee or banshee, also known in other parts of the Celtic world. The banshee is seen as a messenger from the other world, which is both the home of the gods and the realm of the dead. The banshee can take many forms, as she can be old, young, beautiful, or ugly. She is often heard but not seen, and her lonesome cry instills fear in those that hear it. An eerie silence forewarns of her piercing cry. From the smallest insect to the fiercest beast, the woods and forest fall silent and numb with a sound to disturb the banshee when she cries, for none want her mournful cry turned upon them. Now the family of the Reverend Bunsworth, being a devout Christian, dismissed the talk of the servant as mere superstition, for the Reverend was a man of God, and not such ancient dribble as this. Besides, his health had appeared to be improving. However, this was before the appearance of the Banshee. Now his condition rapidly declined, and now on the night before his condition took a fatal turn, the servants tried anything to help. Reverend Bunsworth had been moved downstairs so he could sleep in peace, for something kept making noises at the sill of his windows, and the mournful winds blowing through the trees and the forest only reminded him of the dreadful omen that was rumored in less civilized homes. Even downstairs, outside of his room's window, a moaning and clapping had been heard. When servants had gone outside to investigate, it was found that a rosebush close to the window had been partially trampled, as if somebody had made a bed of it. There was no sign of anybody that could have made the noises or trampled the bush, which sent fear into the servants of the household. Those who had remained inside the house once again heard the sound of moaning and clapping coming from all different areas around the house, sending them into a flurry to discover where the noises emanated from. But nothing came from any search. It seemed as if the noises came from everywhere and from nowhere at the same time, as if emanating from your very soul. As the night wore on, the Reverend's health worsened. But the howling had only gotten worse. The eerie sounds filled the tall ceilings and walls of the old house. The servants retreated to their quarters, locked their doors, and did all they could to avoid the fate of the Banshee, inadvertently leaving poor sick Reverend Bunsworth to face his awful fate. By morning the noises had stopped, but it was evident that they had taken their toll on poor Reverend, and by the time that dawn broke through the stained glass window at the side of his bed, he had expired as well. Many said this was inevitable, that it had been predicted by the arrival of the Banshee. This is what is so troubling about the Banshee, though. Its ill curse comes on without notice. It runs its course and cannot be subsided by any bribe or offering. Normal people Druids, witches, and demons alike fear the banshee for this very reason. None are immune to its cry, for it is the cry of death. So if you hear the anguished cry of the banshee, pray. Pray that she is not coming for you. The end.